Well, the countdown continues towards the big one here at Albion Park, the Conrad Jupiter's Interdominion Grand Final. And you can probably see behind me there's plenty of action in the birdcage enclosure as the runners in the Grand Final start their preliminaries. It won't be long before most of them are on the track. In fact, as I look now, here's Jack Morris just about to come back off the track. Rod Chambers has had him out on the track for his warm-up. Perhaps with a little bit of luck, he's about to walk. No, he's not. I thought he was going to walk down behind us. Well, during the evening, you've heard John McDermott calling the races from Newcastle. The reason John's calling it Newcastle is because the regular caller, Greg Radley's here in Brisbane, doing a little bit of work. It's nice to see you back.
It's good to be back. I haven't been here for about 12 months, but it is a great time to come back, isn't it?
Well, we did hope to speak to some trainer drivers, some important people, but they're all busy, so we thought we'd talk to you.
Yeah, thanks very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
What do you think of the final?
Well, I mean, what else can you think but Jack Morris? You know, you look at the race and you
there he is now.
Yeah, there he goes. He hasn't got any weaknesses, or so it seems. Franco Tiger's got a couple. I don't think Blossom Lady's got too many, except that she can't sprint as quickly as the others. Westburn Grant, if he gets a nice soft run, you know, expect him to be sprinting home. Christopher Vance is going to be there at the finish if it's a truly run race. But this horse can sit in the death. And speaking to Sean Harney a while ago, he's going to have a crack for the lead. So, you know, he's awesome.
Brian Gass said during the week that he wasn't going to hand up on Franco Tiger. Remember last year he led on Franco Tiger in the early stages. Vic Frost came around on Westburn Grant and Gath handed up. He said during the week that that's been his biggest mistake and he doesn't intend to repeat that mistake. So if he doesn't want to hand up and Rod Chambers decides he really wants to lead, the fireworks are going to be really flying.
Well, I mean, if they do declare it on, it's going to be something come from behind, because I don't think Jack Morris can take on Franco Tiger and be there at the finish. I mean, he's a great horse, but I don't think he's a super horse. I don't think there's been too many horses succeed in Interdominion finals doing that, you know, using those sort of tactics. Luck's going to play a major part, but he makes his own luck, Jack Morris, which is the good part about him. I think I'd like to see him. If I was Rod Chambers, I'd be just sitting outside Franco Tiger and just not worrying about him, and because I know I've got the better horse.
Jack Morris, your selection, the hardest to beat?
I think Warrior Khan and Blossom Lady. I'm really keen on Warrior Khan because 54 and a bit up the back last week after getting knocked over. But Blossom Lady, I mean, what can you say about her? An 8-year-old mare, she's a marvel.
OK, nice to see you back. Congratulations with what you've been doing with Racing Radio, and enjoy the final tonight.
I will too. Thanks, Dad.
Russ has got some updates to check for you. We'll be back at Albion Park in just a little while.
Thanks, Terry. We'll have those updates in a moment. They're set for race 8 at Penrith. Here's Rod Fuller.
Thanks very much, Russ. Good to see Greg Radley, heavily made up. And we'll give his phone number down the line later for all the women listening. Set to go for race 8. This is the 8th event.
Hit the spot and live some life. Hit the spot and you're gonna lie. Some people are good. Some people run hot. You only live once. So hit the spot.
The 1993 Interdominion, presented by Conrad Jupiters on the Gold Coast and International Animal Health Products.
Final gear adjustments being made on the track at Globe Derby prior to the running of race 5. While we're waiting for some action there at Albion Park, at Globe Derby, this following race there will be followed by race 7 at Wentworth Park. There's the scene at Albion Park as the runners make their way onto the track, ready for this big one worth $400,000. And a great way. And number 1 is Red Chip, waiting for the board to come up here. Here it is. It's now 150 to 1 for Red Chip. Scratch number 2. 12 to 1 for Franco Tiger. Blossom Lady is at 15 to 2. 5 to 4 on the favourite, Jack Morris. Number 6 is Hilarion Star at 190 to 1. 100 to 1 for number 7, Level Advice. Number 8 is 30 to 1. That's Defoe. 9 is We Own a Warrior. It's 140 to 1. Number 10 is at 10 to 1. That's Warrior Khan. 11 is Rustic Lad at 70s. It's 4 to 1 for number 12, Westburn Grant, Scratch Choken, and Christopher Vance is 10 to 1. That's the early market for the Interdominion. That race not due to start until 20 to 10 Eastern, so it's still some 15 minutes away. The selections from David Fowler. David makes it number 5, Jack Morris to win, from 4, Blossom Lady, 12, Westburn Grant, and 10, Warrior Khan. 5, 4, 12 and 10. Still nothing happening at Globe Derby. The mobile barrier still at the side of the track and at the side of the boxes for the running of race 7 at Wentworth Park. Now, going onto the track there, we see the runners for the Interdominion, and what a great race this is going to be. The runner on the track there is the champion, Westburn Grant, I think. Yes, it is. The mighty Westburn. And he has the Olympic jacket on, the Olympic 2000 bid jacket, and driven by Vic Frost. And this is his final appearance on a racetrack tonight. And I know his legion of fans will be hoping that he can leave his racing career behind him victorious in this great race. Now, Wentworth Park, the update for race
preliminaries. We might have a final look at the tote board for this race. And we see number 1, Red Chip, at odds of 130 to 1. He's one of the outsiders of the series. He secured that last-minute inclusion after Chokum was scratched this morning. Number 3, Franco Tiger. There has been support for him on track, and he's a 12 to 1 chance. Number 4, Blossom Lady, the grand-staying mare from New Zealand. She's at 8 to 1. Number 5, Jack Morris, 6 to 4 on. He's a clear-cut favourite with bookmakers and on the tote, and he's remained solid, 6 to 4 on. Number 6, Hilarion Star, one of the outsiders, 200 to 1. Number 7, Level Advice, also at long odds, 100 to 1. Number 8 is Defoe. He's a 33 to 1 chance. Number 9 is Weona Warrior, 150 to 1. Number 10 is Warrior Khan, as odds of 11 to 1. Number 11 is Rustic Lad, odds of 70 to 1. Number 12, Westburn Grant, is at odds of 9 to 2. He's had backing on track as well. However, at 9 to 2, he's a little unders on the tote, but he does have a huge public following. Of course, this is his last race tonight. And number 14, Christopher Vance from New Zealand, has also had support at longer odds, and he's at 10 to 1 on the Queensland TAB. That's with nearly 150,000 in the win pool. Jack Morris, the 6 to 4 on chance, on favourite. Now, runners are completing their preliminaries. They're going to their pre-race formation. Russ, if you'd like to clear some commitments, you've got a minute or two before the start of the Conrad Jupiter's Interdominion Grand Final.
Thanks very much, David, and we'll be back with you very shortly.
Level Advice about to fill his position with Defoe. Weona Warrior is at the top of the track. On the second line, Warrior Khan, Rustic Lad, Westburn Grant in the Sydney Olympic colours, and Christopher Vance. Stand by now for a start. Conrad Jupiter's Interdominion Grand Final, 2,600 metres, and they all score up well. Set to go. They're ready. Stand by, there's the blue light. They're racing from barrier 1. Red Chips come out fast, so is Franco Tiger. Jack Morris was looking for the early lead, but he's going to ease slightly out of that speed battle. There's Level Advice and Defoe. They're humming across from out wide. Franco Tiger, though, holds the early lead from Level Advice. Defoe presses on 3 wide. Just behind them, Red Chip. Jack Morris settles 5th. They're followed by Rustic Lad. Around the outside, Westburn Grant. He's into midfield already, and then came Christopher Vance, followed by Hilarion Star. Blossom Lady, no speed out off the front line. She's third last. Second last, Weona Warrior, and Warrior Khan was last of all. Into the straight now with 2,100 metres left to go, and Franco Tiger the leader. Chambers wasn't happy with the slow speed. He's off and running already on Jack Morris. It's Franco Tiger a length in front of Defoe. Jack Morris strides up boldly. He'll get to the leader's wheel in just a moment. Red Chip the leader's back. Rustic Lad finds himself 3 back on the inside. Level Advice is midfield in the running line. Then came Hilarion Star on the inside of Westburn Grant, followed by Christopher Vance. Third last, Weona Warrior. Second last, Blossom Lady. And Warrior Khan last of all on the side of the track with 17.50 left to go. And Franco Tiger and Brian Gather dictating terms in front. A length to Jack Morris. He's going to have to work outside of the leader. Red Chip is third. And Defoe now getting a good card along. He's one out and one back, racing outside of the Queensland Hope Rustic Lad. Then came Level Advice, racing outside of Hilarion Star, and then Westburn Grant. He's a little worse than midfield on the running line on the outside of Weona Warrior, who's saving ground along the inside. Third last was Christopher Vance. Blossom Lady is second last, and Warrior Khan has the entire field in front of him. 72.8 was the lead time. They're on the side of the track at the 1,300 metres, and Franco Tiger travelling sweetly. 3 parts of a length in front of Jack Morris second. Red Chip third on the insides, enjoyed a cosy trip. Fourth one out and one back is Defoe, and here come the back markers. Warrior Khan takes off 3 wide and tracked up strongly by Blossom Lady. They race inside the 1,200. They get the bell this time in the Conrad Jupiter's Interdominion Grand Final. They left that quarter behind them in 31.6, so Franco Tiger has enjoyed a comfortable trip in the van. A length in front of Jack Morris, who strides closer. He's only a half length away. Red Chip third on the inside, then Defoe. Warrior Khan gets to 50s, 3 wide on Blossom Lady's hot on his hammer. Level Advice held up midfield in traffic. Rustic Lad still 3 back on the inside. Then came Hilarion Star. Christopher Vance jumps onto the back of Blossom Lady for a cart home. Westburn Grant now finds himself second last and in traffic, and Weona Warrior last of all. The race hots up now. They head to the back straight for the final time. 700 left to go. 29.8 was the next quarter. It's Franco Tiger looking for an all-the-way victory. Jack Morris is a neck away. A length to Warrior Khan, third and 3 wide. No run for Red Chip, no run for Defoe. Blossom Lady about to pull 4 deep, and then Rustic Lad, followed then by Level Advice, Christopher Vance, Hilarion Star. Westburn Grant still second last, 8 lengths off the lead, and the tail end of Weona Warrior. Past the 400 metres, up the back straight in 28.4, and Jack Morris draws a half length clear of Franco Tiger. Warrior Khan, those in hot pursuit. He's a grinding stayer, and he's almost drawn level with Jack Morris, though Chambers looks confident. Around the final turn, Jack Morris a half in front of Warrior Khan. Here's Blossom Lady coming 3 wide, and then Defoe followed by Christopher Vance. He has to get busy on Jack Morris. He's pulling out plenty, so is Warrior Khan though, but Jack Morris draws clear. He's a world-class product, champion with a capital C, and Jack Morris takes out the Interdominion. Photo for the miners, Warrior Khan or Blossom Lady. Then Rustic Lad, he ran a great race for Queensland ahead of Christopher Vance. Then Defoe followed by Weona Warrior, Westburn Grant, Hilarion Star. Third last Red Chip, second last Franco Tiger. Level Advice Absolute in Conrad Jupiter's Interdominion Grand Final of 1993. 27.8 the last quarter. He's a second outside of his own world record. 3:10.4 he has run. He had to race without cover, but he was the best horse in the race, and he proved it, drawing clear in the final 100 metres. 5, Jack Morris, Rod Chambers, 170 and 130 on the Queensland TAB. A photo for the minor placings involving 10 Warrior Khan at 265, and Blossom Lady number 4, a place tote of 205. 3:10.4 is the overall time. It's 1 second outside of his world record. But races aren't won on times, and Jack Morris has done the job in brilliant fashion. He quickly raced up outside of Franco Tiger when Brian Gath attempted to slow the speed and dictate the race. But then Jack Morris was able to dictate the race, and he's drawn clear in the 100 metres for a most convincing win. The mile rate is 1:57.8. 1:57.8. 1 second outside of the time he established a world record in his heat here last week. It's close for the minor placings. Warrior Khan and Blossom Lady, and Christopher Vance is also close up there just behind them. Well, what can you say? The best horse has won the race. He had to race in the toughest position. Here come the minor placings. 10 has run second. Warrior Khan, Andrew Peace. He ran a great race because he was forced to race 3 wide for the last 1,200 metres. And 4 has run third, Blossom Lady Anthony Butt. 5, 10, 4 for the first 4. 14 has run fourth, Christopher Vance. 6 metres by a nose, 3:10.4, 1:57.8 the mile rate. They left the lead time behind them in 72.8. They then ran quarters of 31.6 and 29.8, which isn't fast by any stretch of the imagination, particularly in this top grade. So that half was run in 61.4, but then they turned on the firepower in the last half, 28.4 and 27.8, a final half in 56.2. And Jack Morris, the best horse, has won the race. Warrior Khan by no means disgraced in running second. Hasn't he got a big future? He's only a 4-year-old. By the same token, Jack Morris is only a 5-year-old, so they're going to have some great battles in the forthcoming seasons. But Warrior Khan, he's had a terrifically hard run out 3 wide, but he battled on strongly. And, of course, Blossom Lady running her great race, as she always does, in finishing third. 4th in the race was Christopher Vance. 5th was number 11, Rustic Lad. And hasn't he run a great race for the Queenslanders? He battled on strongly. Westburn Grant, He was always well back in the field. He got pushed back to second last when runners took off 3 wide, and he was never a real chance. Tote dividends are up now on the Interdominion. The winner 5, Jack Morris, 170 and 130. 10, Warrior Khan, 265, and 4, Blossom Lady, 205. Quinella, 710. Trifecta, 5, 10 and 4, 41.90. The first 4 on 5, 10, 4 and 14, $160.10. The daily double tonight, 8 and 5. That's Valley Champ and Jack Morris. The daily double, $14, and the trifecta and the treble rather on 14, 8 and 5. Chippendale, Valley Champ and Jack Morris, $123.70. The runners are back now at the inspection point with the press, the cameraman, and all the dignitaries gathering around Jack Morris. He's a terrific prospect. As we said 6 months ago, we wouldn't have heard of him. He came across for the Miracle Mile. He ran 3rd in that, and then stamped himself as a horse to be reckoned with when he won the True Memorial of Bankstown, and he has just gone from strength to strength. What an exciting future he has ahead of him, as does Warrior Khan. And there's the all clear. All clear. All clear on the placings, 5, 10 and 4. We'll be back shortly with more at Albion Park after Conrad Jupiter's Interdominion.
Very much, Fred.
Well, thank you very much, David, and that was a wonderful call, and what a wonderful win by that West Australian Championship, the West Australian champion. He's a fantastic horse. Down on the track, here's Terry Spargo.
All week, patience, and we thought they'd make the race for us, and as it was, it worked out nicely.
What's it feel like to drive Jack Morris?
What's it like to drive a Ferrari?
And how do you feel to be the Conrad Jupiter's Interdominion Pacing Championship winning driver?
Absolutely marvellous.
Rod Chambers, the winning driver.
Mate, congratulations. Thanks. ABC TV. Can we just get you, mate? Yep. For a second, Sean.
Let him go.
Yep.
Rod, just before you go, Terry Spargo from Sky Channel. Were you surprised when Brian went so slowly in the early part of the race?
No, when we went through all the times during the week, that was his only hope, I thought, was to either hand up to us, and he made that pretty clear that he wasn't going to do that. And then his only other option was to try and get away with some slow quarters. I said to Sean earlier, the moment he goes that slow quarter, we'll be off and sit outside him. I thought we could sit outside him and win, and he did.
All right, we'll leave you to the others.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Terry, and a very good effort to get that interview there with everyone so busy on the track. And what a champion that West Australian is. Certainly hear a lot more of him, and what a great race that was. And it's over now for another year, unfortunately, at Globe Derby, race 6. It was scheduled for 7 minutes ago. Now, obviously, they held it up because of the Interdominion. They were running a fraction behind there. So we'll bring you that as soon as we get a chance. But don't worry, you haven't missed it if you've been sitting there patiently. Now, there are the press and the media around Jack Morris, the winner of the Conrad Jupiter's Interdominion Pacing Championship final there at Albion Park. And our coverage of that race was brought to you by Great Keppel Island, the Action Island, and a great place for a holiday. For bookings to Great Keppel Island, there's the phone number to call, 008 812 525. Great Keppel. It's really a place to get away here. Now, nothing happening at Globe Derby. We're waiting for across there, but we have an update for Mini Valley, race number 6. And edition still underway following the Interdominion. I don't think we can pick up any sound of that.
And you know,
possibly, yes, we can.
We'd never think we'd win this. And of course, another very important thing is you've just got to have the club and the sponsor support that makes this all worthwhile. Because it wasn't, we're on the bones of our backside, we wouldn't be here tonight at such a well-organised, well-patronised, world-class event. And I thank the organisers, led by Kevin Seymour, for doing such an outstanding job, not only providing magnificent facility, a magnificent race program, but looking after all these connections that come from all over the place to participate in this world-class event. So I guess that the last thing I just want to say is, I know when you look at the stars out there, there are probably a handful of Jack Morrises out there across Australasia. You don't need to pay a fortune to get them. I think we've proved that tonight. But if you want to do something, get yourself involved. Because I tell you what, it's fun and it can be profitable as well. And a great man in this state that gets plenty of people involved is Kevin Seymour. One last thing I'd like to say, we've been in Queensland, we spend a lot of time here. And we've been seeing what's been hurting in Queensland over the last 2 weeks. We've been watching the news, and Sharon and I have decided that we'd like to donate 10,000 of our winnings after we divvy up the cheque to the Queensland Drought Relief Appeal.
Oh, what a noble gesture, and that's wonderful. And here's the trainer of the winner, Jack Morris.
A bit further along the way, the horse kept showing a little bit more, and I went to test him a bit more, and then I said, well, we need something else for him, you know. And they supplied that, and most of these things were money, because I didn't have any. And then I thought, gee, this bloke's starting to go real good, and I thought, well, maybe he'll make it to the Interdominions. So I think we should go and have a look, because I've never been to Brisbane, never been to Queensland, I'd never been to Jim Beaver, and I'd never been to Tambourine Mountain. So I came over from the west, sponsored by Sharon and Peter, checked it all out, met a bloke called Brad Conley. He took me under his wing, showed me the ropes, introduced me to the people, let me know where I needed to go to catch a bus, where to hire a car, where to stay, where to train the horse, picked me up at the airport. And Brad, I thank you tonight. Your help's been invaluable. To the amount of people that I've met in the industry since I started travelling, the Noel Shins, the Fitzpatricks, and the Conleys, the Dave Gibbs, the humour we've had, I've enjoyed it all, but nowhere near as much as what I enjoy this lovely animal, Jack. To Roddy Chambers, I met him a long time ago. We've been through thick and thin. I told you I had no money. I'm pretty sure Rod was pretty close to the same spot on a few times. We've been through some emotional down times. Tonight's an emotional high. Thanks, Rod. Thanks, Jack. Thank you, the people of Queensland. Thanks, Jack Morris.
That was trainer Sean Harney.
With me at the moment, Russ, is the man of the moment, Rod Chambers. Rod, congratulations. An Interdominion win. It must be a great feeling. Are your feet back on the ground yet?
Yeah, thanks very much, Terry. Certainly a great buzz, a wonderful thrill. Silvestro's out there setting the sparks alight, but I think Jack's already done that through the series. What a wonderful horse. Great thrill to be behind him. And congratulations to Sean Harney and the connections. Sean's done a fabulous job actually preparing this horse through the series. He's a pretty outspoken sort of a guy, and he's answered all his critics tonight, and he's just done a sensational job. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Peter. And thanks, Jack.
I asked you just after the race, I'll ask you again, were you surprised that Brian Gath went out so slowly? Because to me, and I think a lot of others, it just seemed to be an invitation. Well, I'm crawling along. Come on, Jack, where are you? Get up here and sit in the death.
Yeah, we've done our homework with all the times right throughout the whole series, and you know, plan A was originally that if we couldn't wrest the lead from Brian, then the only way Franco Tiger could really win was to actually back off that second quarter, and that was what was happening, and we went straight around, sat outside of him then, and you know, Jack's done the rest from there.
Well, you reeled off a pretty quick last half. It was always going to be difficult for something coming from behind you after those early slow times to run you down, and of course that's the way it proved to be. And there's not too many bad luck stories behind you either, because I spoke to Darryl Case, the chief steward, who said the only thing the steward's report will say about the race is that Warrior Khan was 3 deep without cover for the last 1,300 metres. So perhaps he was a little unlucky, but you were a long way in front of him at the end.
Yeah, Warrior Khan's run an absolute fantastic race on the times that were run. But yeah, basically we wanted to be in control of the race, and we could do that from the